A very warm welcome to the history class, and we have been studying the first lesson, the sources of history. And a quick reminder, historical source, also known as historical material or historical data, is original source that contain important historical information, and these sources are something that inform us about history at the most basic level, and these sources are used as clues in order to study. So, your historical sources include documents, artifacts, archaeological sites, features, oral transmissions, stone inscriptions, paintings, recorded sounds, images like photographs or motion pictures, and oral history. And also to let you know, even ancient relics and ruins, broadly speaking, are historical sources. So, now in this chapter, we will be concentrating on oral sources. So, without wasting much time, take a book and a pen or a pencil to make some notes, and keep an open mind. And it's very important to have questions in your mind. A questioning mind helps a person to explore more things in the world. So do not stop all those questions, don't stop all those questions that comes to you. Keep asking, keep exploring, keep that curiosity going on. And let us begin with our lesson, sources of history, with the concluding part, that is the oral sources of history. So, oral histories are accounts given by a person of events earlier in their life. Often, they are taken by family members, historians, archivists, or others who interview older people in an attempt to document events and lives that otherwise can be forgotten. Now, in this lesson that we are studying right now, we will be looking at the oral history of modern Indian history. So, just a little bit of background, the history of India can go as far as 5,300 years ago. It can go back in history so far. But we are looking at the modern Indian history, the history, I would say, from the year 1850 onwards. And a major part of modern Indian history was occupied by the British rule in India. So, the oral sources that we are be looking forward in this chapter, they would include folk songs, pavada, folk tales, narrations, interviews, fairs, jalsa, art groups, some rhythmic prose, inspirational songs. They would be accounted for your oral sources. So let us quickly go in detail in some of the oral history or oral sources of history of modern Indian history. All right. We are going to discuss the first uh, source of oral sources, that is inspirational songs. Well, nowadays if you go on YouTube or you see some TED talk, there are so many motivation speeches and motivation videos, motivation how to be successful in life, how to be a fit person, how to be an intelligent person. You can get all kind of inspirational speeches and videos and songs available right now. Now, let's look at our Indian history, referring to the modern Indian history time. During that time, I would say India was under the shackles and clutches of the British, and it was a very trying time. And let me tell you, these songs, these inspirational songs, at times gave a lot of strength to the Indian citizens, to the Indian freedom fighters. I would like to share this one song. Well, I put the link on the screen. Please remove some time and listen to that beautiful song. The name of the song is called Akela Chalo Re. Jodi tor dakshune keyu na ase tobe ekala cholore. It is commonly known as Ekala Cholore. It's a Bengali patriotic song written by Rabindranath Tagore in the year 1905. And well, a father of our nation, Bapu, Mahatma Gandhi ji, so many times people were not with him. He would go on fast unto death, or he's fighting for some cause, but there is nobody even supporting him at times, and he was pretty alone. And at that given point of time, this song, Ekela Chalore, used to give him a lot of strength, a lot of motivation. The song is about even if there's nobody there with you, and if you even if you have to walk alone for the good, for the good cause, you have to walk alone. And that's how you see Bapu will always be walking. Used to walk for like miles and miles for anything, whether physically walking or walking for the country, fighting for the country, using non-violence and satyagraha. So the inspirational songs actually, during the freedom movement, various inspirational songs were composed. At present, some of these songs are available in written form. Like I just gave you a link over there. Listen to that song. It's a beautiful song sung by Shreya Ghosal, a very well-known Indian Bollywood singer. She sang it so beautifully. But there are many other unpublished inspirational songs which we do not know. It was all memorized by the freedom fighters, and this is something for them to, work. And there were days they'll be without food or with so much of pressure and tension that is going around. These songs gave them a lot of strength, using the radio, or children going in their early morning marches, they used to sing all these songs. So through these inspirational songs, we can get information about the condition during that time, that during the pre-independence period, and also you will get to know the spirit behind the freedom struggle, could be understood so much more better. So please listen to the song if you can. It's very nice, and you will understand how much pain our Indian fighters have taken, and at times you need these kind of inspirational songs to go ahead in life. Now, the next oral source we are going to be learning is the Povada. Now, the Povada is a genre or a type of Marathi poetry that emerged during the late 17th century in our country, India. The Povadas are a kind of a ballad written in a very exciting style and narrate historical events in a very inspiring way. The composer cum singers of the Pavadas are known as Shahirs. So earlier Pavadas were mostly composed by the eyewitnesses of the great events celebrated in those ballads. Now, Pavada is a dramatic narration by alternating reciting poetry or and prosaic extract. So, what does this Pavada do? Pavada narrates great deeds of heroic men and women in a very forceful and inspiring style. All right, and apart from all the freedom movement, the Pavadas were composed based on the work of Satya Shodak Samaj. Well, Satya Shodak Samaj was founded by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, and also for awakening among for it was for awakening among the oppressed classes, and the Samyukta Maharashtra Samiti. Now, the Samyukta Maharashtra Samiti was an organization that was created to do in asking demanding to have a separate Marathi speaking state. So that was Samyukta Maharashtra Samiti at that point of time. So yeah, so these are Pavadas, and if you Google it, you will get many Pavadas on even on our great Shivaji as well. We come to the next source: video, audio, and audio-visual sources, and I have put a link on your screen, and it is a video about the first speech given by our first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru on the day of our independence, that's 15 August 1947, Tryst with Destiny. So it's a beautiful speech. Have a look and see how it appears back there in those days in the year 1947. So during the modern period, due to the development of technology, there was a development in the art of photography, recording, films, etc. So obviously these photograph records or films can be used as a source of history. So there are many videos. If you go, you can watch them. I have seen a couple of interviews of our father of our nation when he was in prison, giving an interview. So that way we can get a clear understanding what the situation was, and what is the motivation behind all of this. So these oral sources, these visual sources can aid us and help us in understanding what history was about. So students, let us look at this picture on our screen here. What do you see? Who do you see? What are they wearing? What do you think where they would be going? What would be their destination? Why are they looking down? So you see students, when we look at a photograph, we get to learn a lot and understand what was the situation all about. So students, the picture that I have put here on the screen is the Salt March, actually the Salt Satyagraha, or you also call the Dandi March or the Dandi Satyagraha. It was an act of non-violent civil disobedience, of course led by our father of our nation, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, and it was a 24 days march. Yes, it started on the 12th of March 1930, and it got over on the 6th of April 1930 as a direct action campaign of tax resistance and non-violent protest against the British salt monopoly. So you see, this image will actually talk so much, and if you keep looking at photographs of the past, you will try to see who they are, what are they trying to say. So you see, a photograph are visual sources of modern Indian history, and with the discovery of art of photography and photograph of various persons, events, objects, structure, places were clicked. Through these photographs, we get information of the person or an event in a visual format. Okay, and in case of medieval period, of course there were no photographs then, so there were paintings available to depict the physical features of a person or visual description of a particular event. By the authenticity of these paintings is, well, it can be a little doubtful as to how true they could be, but comparatively photographs are considered to be more reliable, right? So like the photo that you see is more reliable. The photograph of a person gives information about the physical feature, their dressing style. Photograph of an event gives us a visual image of the event, whereas photograph of an object or a structure help us understand the nature of it. Recordings. The discovery of technique of recording was also as important as photography, right? Recording is a form of audio source of history. During the modern period, the speeches of great leaders or important personalities, songs, etc., are available in the form of recordings. They can be used as a source of history. Now, for example, the national anthem, right? Jana Gana Mana, sung by Rabindranath Tagore himself, or the speeches of Subhash Chandra Bose can be used as an audio source for the study of history of modern India. Students, we come to the last part of this chapter. We are going to be talking about films. Films are considered as a unique discovery of modern technology. In the 20th century, there was a great development in the technique of filmmaking, how to make this film. And Dada Saheb Phalke in the year 1913 laid the foundation of Indian film industry. Yes, I'm going a little bit out of topic to talk about Dada Saheb Phalke. Dada Saheb Phalke, the Indian producer, known actually as Dundaraj Govind Phalke, popularly known as Dada Saheb Phalke, was an Indian producer, director, screenwriter, known as the father of Indian cinema. His debut film, Raja Harishchandra, was the first Indian movie in 1913 and is now known as India's first full-length feature film. So isn't that great? So audio-visual recording of Dandi Yatra, Salt Satyagraha, Quit India movement and such other historical incidents are available. Through these films, the events could be seen in reality. So you can actually see what must have happened, what was the society like, what could be the pressure. You can understand so much by watching the movies. So compared to ancient and medieval period, the sources of study of modern Indian history are found in abundance and in variety. Also, if you consider the archaeological sources of this period, to a very great extent they are found in a better state. They are not very damaged. You can still understand what must have happened because it is not damaged. There are many written sources preserved in the archives, but while referring the written sources, the ideology and opinions of the author regarding the particular event needs to be examined. So why we need to examine is because we don't need to get angry or furious by reading anything, because we need to understand what was the society back then, what was the pattern of thinking, what was the pressure. Based on that, the writer writes, and you can't make a general statement on it. You need to even understand the background as to what must have happened. So there is a great need of preserving these historical sources through which the rich tradition of history can be handed over to the next generation. So students, we've come to the end of this chapter, and now it's holiday period. I would seriously advise you to watch this movie Gandhi. Okay, it's a movie. It's a 1982 epic historical drama film based on the life of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, and the film, it's a British Indian co-production, was written by John Briley and produced and directed by Richard Attenborough, and also it has this great actor Ben Kingsley, who's in the title role, that is he's playing Gandhi. And let me tell you, this movie was released in India on 30th of November 1982, and in United Kingdom on 3rd of December, and in the United States on the 10th of December, and it was nominated for Academy Awards in 11 categories. Imagine. And after nominating in 11 categories, winning 8, they've won 8 awards, including Best Picture, Best Director for Attenborough, Best Actor for Ben Kingsley, and Best Screenplay written directly by for the screen of Briley. So this is actually an amazing movie. It's a long movie. You need to have the patience, understand the situation, and when I watched that movie, towards the end, I was in tears. So, if I ever get to meet you all in class, maybe I can show the movie and I explain part by part what is happening in the movie. So, yes, as for homework, I would say use the internet, try to see for more photographs of the modern Indian history, find out different povadas, try to see different interviews of great leaders, and the letters written by them, and see the inspirational speeches, try to collect them, and once we meet in the class we can discuss what you have got. Okay, so God bless you, and reread this lesson for now, and whatever I've said, watch movie, collect data, which will be beneficial for all of us. God bless you and stay safe.